Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewers, submit your gaming or Battlefield 3 related questions, and then I give my humble opinion on them. If you would like to submit your own question, you can do so by sending me a YouTube message with the title line Q&A, and I could potentially talk about it in an upcoming episode. So the first question for today is, in Battlefield Bad Company 2, I loved being a bush Wookiee and jumping out at people with my ghillie suit. In Battlefield 3, however, I find myself not using the Recon class as much as I would like, simply because you're not properly camouflaged. Do you think it would be a good idea in Battlefield 4 for DICE could bring back the ghillie suit for the Recon class? Yeah, I, like you, really enjoyed the Recon class in Bad Company 2. It was a lot of fun to play, and to be honest, it's completely different than the Recon class in Battlefield 3. In Bad Company 2, it was more of an aggressive role. People would go for long-range shots, and that was definitely, very popular. But there was a lot more people out there that played that aggressive, up-close and personal role with the Recon kit, because you would get a one-shot, one-kill pretty much no matter. I think it was no matter where you shot the player in the body, as long as you were up close and you're using a bolt-action rifle, it was a one-shot, one-kill. So it was a very powerful class. But now in Battlefield 3, that's really not an option. Sure, you can go for that chest shot up close, but it's very difficult, and it's just a lot harder to play the aggressive Recon role if you're trying to use the bolt-action rifles. Really, the only way you can do it now in Battlefield 3 is if you're using a semi-automatic rifle, which is fine, and I got nothing against that. Concerning Battlefield 4, though, it's definitely going to be very interesting to see how DICE handles the Recon role, because as of right now, it's clear that DICE's philosophy for the bolt-action rifles is that they want you to play at long range. They want you to go for those long-range headshots. Kind of support your allies by spotting enemies and suppressing their targets as well, which is completely fine. That's exactly how you would expect a Recon or a sniper to perform in real life. I mean, you wouldn't see a sniper running around no-scoping people, doing 360 no-scopes. I mean, that's just not realistic. So I understand that philosophy. That's completely cool. But then they also have gone in and they've changed the formula from Bad Company 2, where you don't have a ghillie suit and you also have the sniper glint. So it's clear that they do want you to play at long range, but they also want to make sure that you aren't invisible and the enemy is going to know pretty much exactly where you are once you start to shoot at them. So I really don't think that they are going to bring back the ghillie suit in Battlefield 4. Like I said, I would be thrilled. It would be awesome. But just to see how they've handled the Recon class in Battlefield 3, I would be very surprised if they completely change their philosophy and switch things up dramatically in the upcoming title. Like I said, I would be excited for it, and if they did that, I would be thrilled. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see when more information has been released. The next question for today is, how about reducing the heal rate or range or both from a medkit? The purpose is to make the under-rail weapons more useful, especially award players somehow for attaching this weapon after he gives up the medkit. So I really don't think I can get behind this idea. I do understand that the medkit is used a lot more frequently than the under-rail attachments, but I honestly think that the medkit right now is in a very balanced state. It's not overpowered. If you place it on the ground, it's not going to just rocket your health to 100% in under a second. It's a very team-oriented tool at your disposal when you're using the Assault class, and I think it serves a great purpose in the Battlefield franchise. And to just kind of nerf that, or justify nerfing that because you want to make the under-rail attachments more appealing, just doesn't seem like the best way to handle things. If DICE really wanted to make them more appealing, then they should just buff things slightly. I mean, they shouldn't go completely overboard like what they did with the M16A3, where they nerfed it and then buffed other weapons like the M416, which basically put it to the point where it's better or even more powerful than the M16A3 was. They kind of have this problem with doing that. But really, just buff them slightly. Don't make any changes to the med packs or anything like that. And really, that would probably make them more viable, and you would see them used more frequently on the battlefield. So, no, I don't think that the med kit should get nerfed. I think that maybe the under-rail attachments should see a very, very slight buff, but make them more in line with the med kit. The final question for today is, do you think vehicles should run out of ammunition? Soldiers do, why not a tank, jet, or helicopter? I see players go on kill streaks that are way too long and it's very frustrating. At the very least, there should be a limit on the smoke. It's not fair that an engineer only has a handful of rockets and the vehicle has an unlimited countermeasures. So I think a fair amount of Battlefielders were expecting this mechanic in Battlefield 3, considering, if memory serves me right, in Battlefield 2 that is how it worked. If you were in a jet or a helicopter, the only way for you to resupply your ammunition was to fly back over your deployment or fly over your carrier, and I know a lot of people like that system. It did feel more realistic, but I also feel like it's kind of out of date. I understand when a tank or a helicopter goes on this crazy kill streak, it can be very frustrating, but all that being said, I still feel like it's a little outdated. Recently, I have been playing a lot of PlanetSide 2, and I know I'm going to be making a comparison between two different games right now. But in PlanetSide 2, the vehicles do have ammunition. So if you want to go on a crazy kill streak, you're going to have to go back and resupply your tank or your aircraft. And I know a lot of people like that in PlanetSide 2. It gives you a more sense of immersion, it's more realistic, all that kind of stuff. But when I'm playing on the battlefield and when I'm just trying to have fun, to have to resupply my tank and take, you know, five minutes out of my way to go all the way back to base and then back to the front lines is not fun, and to have that happen frequently is a nuisance. And to be honest, I would much rather just have, if I have a vehicle, just let me play in the vehicle and get my enjoyment out of it. Like I said, I understand the whole immersion thing, and not having to resupply is not realistic, but as a gaming perspective and someone who just wants to have fun, I do like the system in Battlefield 3. It's a lot more fun than having to go back to base every 5 minutes to resupply. But that's just my thoughts. But that's it for today's Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. Now you know what I thought about these three topics. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. But if you guys enjoyed the video or just want to support my channel, I always appreciate it when you give my videos a rating, and if you haven't already, subscribe for more. But until next time, guys, have a good one and take it easy.